Right. Hey guys, I'm Akshay. So yeah, just to remind you guys, you have to connect your headsets to channel 2 so that you can listen to me, not the other session. But yeah, so by the way, I'm Akshay and I work for Li.FI and we have great shirts. So we have great shirts. Come to our booth and pick up the shirts. And yeah, so let's start. So yeah, to begin with, I'm just gonna give you a short intro about Li.FI. So Li.FI is a bridge and DEX aggregator. So we're kind of like 1 inch for bridges. If you are bridging from one chain to other chain, we find you the best route through various bridges that we have. We currently have 15 bridges and like countless DEXs inside Li.FI. So for now, I'm gonna let you guys scan this for this presentation, as well as all the links that I will have in the presentation. So yeah, after the presentation, you can get the links and while you're hacking as well. So you guys want to scan? I'm gonna give 5 more seconds. Okay, so these are the links that we're going to be using. I mean, you're going to have to use if you're hacking with Li.FI. So first, of course, the website, and like we have our front end as well. If you want to bridge from any chain to any chain, just like go to transfer2.xyz here, and yeah, we have a crazy UI through which you can bridge from any token on any chain to any token on any chain. So we also have SDK, we have API docs, examples. I'll go with the links again. So what exactly is a problem that Li.FI is solving, right? So why do we even need Li.FI? So of course, you can go to individual bridges, individual dexes to do swaps and bridging manually, and it's still gonna be fine. You're still gonna make it, right? But what Li.FI is doing is that like we are aggregating all these things into a single interface so that you don't have to worry about the various dexes that are there and the fees that they might be charging you, and if they are secure or not, like nobody knows, right? Like everything's on the blockchain, and like unless you can verify, you can't know whether the bridge you're using or DEX you're using is like right or not. So I wanna give you an example of like why a product like Li.FI would actually make a lot of sense. So recently, we were supposed to get merge for the hackathon, of course, and yeah, we faced a lot of issues because there were no aggregators which were aggregating T-shirts for hackathons, right? So what happened was that like we got designs done online, of course, and like we chose a printer in Germany, based in Germany, and they told us like they're gonna print all those things to us and they're gonna ship it to India, to Bangalore, so that we can give it to you guys. But we faced so many issues because like this German company, they gave the contract to Latvia, then to Bangladesh, then to US. Then they shipped each of the shipments through FedEx to India. And at FedEx, I had to go through KYC, I had to pay unknown fees, I had to make cash payment. Like FedEx, I'm paying like thousands of rupees when they're delivering much to me, right? But I would not have cash at all. Like they're expecting me to pay all that money in cash. And like it was a huge mess. I had no idea like this would happen at all. So like this whole thing can be, all I want is that like as a customer, I just have designs for T-shirts. I just want to get merch at ETHIndia, right? That's my only goal. And like all these extra steps that I had to go through, and like this was like very stressful in the last 1 week. 1 month. And these things, as an end user, I don't have to know all these things, all these details. So instead, what you can do is that you can just like, yeah, that's the same thing happens with swapping as well. If you have Matic on Polygon and you want to get GMX on Arbitrum and stake GMX, you have to go to like several steps. You have to choose a DEX, then get USDC, use Hop to bridge to Arbitrum, Again, use Uniswap to swap to GMX and stake GMX. All these steps, and each of these steps would have various fees, various security assumptions, and various bottlenecks, right? And as an end user, like I would not know each and every detail about all the things that I'm gonna use, right? So what we do at Li.FI is that we just gonna abstract everything here, and all you are gonna see is that you're gonna choose Matic, that you have Matic on Polygon, and you're gonna stake GMX on Arbitrum with a single transaction. That's what we do at Li.FI. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted for Li.FI merch as well, but like nobody is there working on that, so soon I'll be able to do it, I guess. Some aggregator is going to be there. But yeah, so this is what we do at Li.FI. We abstract away all the nuances, all the steps that you have to take to swap one token on one chain to a different token on different chain, as well as do another action on top if you wish to, like staking GMX here. So you guys are with me still till now? Thumbs up? Yeah? Great. Okay, so I am going to talk about, so this is our core protocol, right? Like we help people swap tokens and deposit funds. And we have this core protocol, we have several products which is using this protocol, right? You can build so many things on protocols, and Li.FI is also a protocol. That means you can build things on Li.FI as well. So that's why we're sponsoring this hackathon. And I'm also going to talk about the bounties that we have. So we have several products. One is transfer2.xyz, which is our front end. If you are, if you want to go to Arbitrum and stake or buy something on Arbitrum, an NFT, you can use transfer2.xyz and then like bridge to Arbitrum using Li.FI in the backend and buy an NFT. Similarly, we have a widget, which as a dApp, so I mean, of course, you're all builders and hackers, right? So if you are deploying your smart contracts on Arbitrum, then that means that you would have to, all of your users would have to transfer funds from where they have funds in to Arbitrum to use your dApp, right? So it's a hassle for a new user who is not like very degen-y, right? So what you can do is that you can just like plug Li.FI's widget onto your website and directly like let users swap from any chain to your token on your chain. And we have a widget, and we also have SDK. If you don't feel like you wanna have a widget, which is like built by us, the UI is built by us, you can just use our SDK and you can build your own UI, and you would have, of course, have a lot more customizability options and like a lot more linear. It's a lot more linear to use your own SDK and UI. We also have APIs, so it's like it's kind of going bare bone from the widget. With the widget is where you can just plug it in 5 minutes and start using it. It's very easy, right? It's like the wrapped version of Li.FI as a protocol. And the SDK it's kind of like in the middle where the functions are wrapped. If you're a developer, you would know the functions are wrapped, and you can easily just like call functions and perform actions or perform swaps. But APIs are like bare bones, where you get APIs and you would have like full freedom to do anything that you want. We have like APIs, and you can just we have unlimited. There's no limit right now, at least. So we can use our APIs. So, I mean, even if you go even down below the APIs, you can also interact directly with our smart contracts, so which are Li.FI smart contracts. Your smart contract can directly interact with Li.FI smart contract and perform actions. So, for example, if you are Yearn, and if you are an yield aggregator, right, and you want to move your funds to Arbitrum and then deposit into a pool and then get the yield back to, let's say, Polygon, right? So you can do all those things using a smart contract, and you would need Li.FI smart contract for that. So these are our various products. I'm going to go through these things in this session, of course, each of these things, so that like you guys can decide what you want to use in this hackathon. So yeah, I mean, I do want to touch upon the ideas before I dive into anything to build on, so that like you guys have an idea of like what is Li.FI, what can I do with Li.FI, can I build something cool here, and is Li.FI alone enough to build something? If you use Li.FI alone, of course, you can build, just by using Li.FI, you can build so many cool apps, right? And we have bounties which supports, which is gonna, of course, give you, this is not updated. Okay, so to start with SDK, right? The SDK that I spoke about, which directly interacts with our APIs and like get your codes. If you, so, as a on front end, if you want to swap from one token to other token, you're just like passing these two tokens as parameters to our SDK, and you're fetching the codes for these tokens. And to show you, show you an example of using SDK, like we have built, of course, our front end on Li.FI's SDK as well. So this front end that you see is built on Li.FI SDK, and you are choosing a token. Like let's say, oh, I like GMX a lot, so I'm choosing GMX on Arbitrum, and I'm gonna get ETH on Optimism. I'm gonna swap 20 tokens. Of course, the internet is very slow here, so I might not even get routes. But usually, you get several routes on the right side as you swap. And as a user, you can choose what route that you're comfortable with. It can be, based on your favorite bridge that you trust, or it can be through like a native bridge, Arbitrum native bridge as well. So yeah, the SDK works this way, where you pass these two parameters, GMX on Arbitrum to ETH on Optimism, and 20 tokens, right? You're gonna pass these three things, and we're gonna fetch you like so many codes. Can be 10, 20, based on the chains and tokens that you have chosen. Yeah. Oh yeah, we found one route, sadly. But yeah, so usually we find so many routes to do these swaps. But oh, I have disabled other bridges. So yeah, another cool feature about Li.FI that I kind of have to show right now is that we have a feature to enable and disable bridges. At Li.FI, we have several bridges, 12 plus bridges, and I had disabled all the bridges because I trust Connext and Stargate a lot more. But yeah, I mean, I like all the bridges, to be honest. So now we'll get like a lot more routes. So I'll come back to this. So to start with, what can you build? What can you as a hacker build with Li.FI using just the SDK, right? So on the front end, you can just like build a cross-chain yield aggregator. So USDC, of course, everybody wants to hold USDC these days because nobody knows how down we're gonna go from here. So if you're holding USDC and you wanna earn some yield on USDC, then you can use Li.FI and aggregate. So I mean, like you would have to like go through various dApps, various chains, various yield aggregators, and find the best yield and then deposit into that yield, right? So instead, you can just like build this interface using Li.FI, where you can aggregate yield for USDC on various chains, Moonriver, Moonbeam, which are new chains, and they're gonna offer a lot more higher yields than Arbitrum, Optimism, which are like old and secure, right? But yeah, so you can aggregate these like different yields on different platforms, and you can just like give your users just a single button to deposit into these vaults through Li.FI. So as what you can imagine is that like USDC on Arbitrum, USDC on Optimism, and a user just like is gonna select one USDC on Optimism, which is gonna give you 5% yield, unheard of, and yeah, like the user is gonna select USDC on Optimism and just click deposit, and it's just gonna, the Li.FI is gonna bridge the funds from wherever they have the funds in. For example, Polygon, bridge to Optimism, then deposit in the pools, and yeah, you can just do that in the single interface that you are gonna aggregate on your front end. That's like one of the easiest things you can build on Li.FI. And yeah, so we're also partnering with Etherspot. Etherspot is a smart contract wallet. And so Etherspot helps you in automating these things, kind of like vaults. So you can use that as well to make it much, much better. So you can use Li.FI and Etherspot together again. So Li.FI, of course, it's also a great standalone product, but it works better with smart contract wallets, right? So you can use Li.FI and Etherspot. You can build you can borrow cross-chain, you can borrow assets cross-chain. So I mean, like one of the things that are in hype these days is like cross-chain borrowing, where you can deposit ETH on Ethereum and you can borrow USDC on Arbitrum or Optimism, right? So this thing is being built on Layer 0 and or Axela, these different messaging protocols. But I'm not gonna go deep into it. But these protocols are great, but they add another security assumption to you as a user, right? So instead, what you can do is that you can still have the exact same experience, but you can build that with Li.FI and Etherspot with a lot less security assumptions than building on cross-chain, like fully native cross-chain. So yeah, we also have partnered with GoPocket Wallet. So you can, if you wish, you can just like build a wallet on your own and integrate Li.FI and make it cross-chain wallet from day one. And yeah, cross-chain wallets are great. We have a few wallets that have integrated Li.FI. They are Frontier, they are Omni. These wallets have integrated Li.FI, and through this, like people can do a lot more cross-chain things and deposit into different chains and do a lot more things. Yeah, of course. So another thing is multi-hopping. That's something you can build with Li.FI SDK again, which means that if you, for example, let's say you have funds on Phantom and you want to get your funds on Avalanche, right? So this is very hard because there's not much liquidity between these two chains. So ideally, you would have to go through, go from Phantom to ETH, then to Avalanche. So this is called multi-hopping. You are going through a different chain to go to a different chain. So this thing can be built using Li.FI, and currently we don't have that. We are trying to have that. So we are offering. So I have to update this. We're offering $2,500 for using SDK plus widget, SDK or widget. 1,250. And yeah, you can find these like prices on ETH Global website though. So we're offering these bounties in this hackathon. So please build on Li.FI, and of course you're gonna get these things. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about contract calls as well. So I gave you an example when I started this presentation, which is that you can stake on GMX, right? So usually you would have to swap on GMX, just swap to GMX on Arbitrum, and then perform another action to stake into GMX. So which can be automated using exchange contract calls that we have, which what it does that after the bridging happens, after the swapping happens, it calls another function which deposits funds into GMX on Arbitrum. So like the end user is going to be only performing only one action, which is going to be, let's say, like USDC on Polygon. You're just doing that. That's it. And everything else is going to be taken care by bridges and Li.FI. So that's something you can check out as well. Of course, if you build only on cross-chain contract calls, which is a new feature that we have separate bounties for this, $2,000, $1,000, $500. And we also have widget bounties, which I combined with the first bounties now. So there's going to be another fourth prize here. 6-7 minutes. Okay, so I don't have much time, but I'll be in our booth, so you can feel free to ask me. You can come drop by. We also have a game in the booth, so come by the booth and play the game. You can earn some tokens too. So I'll be near the booth. You can ask me for any questions that you have about cross-chain, even if it's not related to Li.FI, anything cross-chain, multi-chain, bridging. I'm open to answering any of the questions that you guys might have. So I want to touch upon, before kick me out, I'm just going to talk about how we can start building right now. So we have examples. So of course, in this presentation, we have something called, we have widget examples, which are like very simple to start with, right? And of course, after you are familiar with a widget, you can move on to SDKs, APIs, and contract calls as well, which are like a lot more complicated. But widget is just like 5 minutes. A lot more complicated, I mean like 5 minutes to 2 hours to probably 1 day, right? Not too hard for a dev. So we have examples. For example, create React app. You can check this out. I use Next.js. And yeah, so this is pretty simple because this widget is also an SDK on JavaScript. It's a JavaScript on TypeScript SDK. And you can import the widget, and you can just plug it in on your UI. It can be anywhere on your UI. So a few things that I want to touch upon, since I don't have much time, is that this widget is like fully customizable, and you can just like do so many things with this widget, because this is kind kind of stuck. Yeah, so this widget, um, you can control all the UI elements that you can see on the widget from outside the widget, which is very useful if you are building something um, like something like this. So we built this recently, and it uses only Li.FI widget, and I feel it's like very useful for sure because it aggregates a few things. Okay, yeah. So this is like one basic example where I have a few buttons here, if you guys can see. I'm not a great front-end dev, sorry. So what we can do is like I can just control the wallet, control the widget from outside the widget. That means that you can build like a lot more things on top of this. For example, USDC, I can change the token ETH from outside. So I mean, a better version of this is obviously this, which is probably running on one. Yeah, it's slow as fuck. Oh no, decline, decline. Oh, it's okay. So this is something that I built, that we built a few days back, a few weeks back, which is an aggregate. I mean, which is a way to store your friend's address or your centralized exchange address on our DApp, and you can easily send money from any chain that you have to that centralized exchange in a single transaction. So, for example, if you want to add a new wallet, let's say Binance, I trust Binance, and I want to get ETH on Binance, and I have some address. Use. Let's say Binance main. ETH. So I have this address that I've just added, and of course I can save this address on this website. You can just like build a simple dApp, which is like very useful. Currently, what we do as DGens when we want to off-ramp money from one chain to Binance, for example, we have to, let's say I have optimism funds, I have to bridge to BSC chain or like Polygon or Ethereum to deposit into Binance. But instead, what you can do is that, let's say I have funds on even like even let's use chain like, let's say Avalanche, right? I have AVAX on Avalanche, and I want ETH on Binance, right? So you can just like have such a way that it just like selects, everything is populated. Oh, I have to connect my wallet. Oh yeah, that's not working. Because I just disconnected my frame wallet, so. But yeah, so ideally, if you have IVAX on Avalanche, and then if you have 20 of that, and you want to get to Binance to Binance, you can just like build a simple app like this where it just like sends you to Binance. You can just like bridge in a single transaction, which is I feel very cool. So yeah, you can build something like this. It's like a very generic app, and you can also build a app where you can add your friends as receiver addresses and send funds to your friends. That's also something you can build. But yeah, I think I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you guys might have in the booth. Feel free to reach out to me on Telegram at Akshay_LIFI, and Discord. Join our Discord and ask for support as well. I can also show you a few examples that are built using Li.FI. One is that, so recently MetaMask integrated Li.FI to support bridging inside MetaMask. So if you go to portfolio.metamask.io, you can see Li.FI being used in the backend. So these guys use API because MetaMask wants a lot more freedom, right? So MetaMask wanted API, so like they have integrated our APIs. We also have Dodo Exchange integrate using us. They are using our SDK. We also have Superfluid using us. They're using our widget. So we have like 3 examples of different dApps using Li.FI. And if you are building any project and if you aim to deploy on any of the L2 chains or side chains that we support, I mean currently we support EVM. We are gonna expand to non-EVM as well. Feel free to reach out to me, reach out to us. We're gonna help you guys integrate Li.FI into your dApp so that you can help your users onboard in a much, much easier or seamless manner to your chain and use your dApp without much hindrance. So yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys like a minute to scan the QR code, join our Discord. You can also scan this QR code instead to get this presentation and get all the links at once. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer right now. Yeah. Channel 2, yeah. Yeah. Huh? I can't hear him though. It's 2. Yeah, I think it's much
Yeah.
better.
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I'm.
Oh yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I want to ask, like, let's suppose you are saying supplying token from one chain to another chain. Let's suppose at the same time second chain got like a very high fluctuation,
Okay.
and like second transaction got failed. How you are handling that?
Yeah, so of course. So this happens a lot. You would know, especially in crypto, right? So what we have is that we have slippage parameter that we set. Um, I mean, of course, you have access to set this slippage on SDK API and the smart contracts. So if you set slippage like 0.5%, the final transaction is gonna, the contract is gonna make sure that the deviation isn't like more than 5.5% for the end token.
Yeah,
So if it does,
that is like
yeah.
okay for one chain, but when we are going to another chain, it is not an atomic swap.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like how you are handling that thing?
No, so even for the destination chain, so this slippage is actually for cross chain. That means that, as you can see here, GMX on Arbitrum to ETH on Optimism, this tokens, right? Like 20 tokens is like $1,075, right? So the final amount should not actually go below $1,075 with 0.5% slippage. So if it does, the transaction fails and you get the money back on where you are.
Okay.
Right? That's like any other slippage.
Got it.
Yeah. But I can play around with the slippage to make sure.
Yeah, I will get to your booth, sure.
Yeah. Okay. 1 more minute. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I have this link over there as well, and yeah, just like go through these ideas, and you guys can definitely come up with something much more creative for sure. If you have any ideas and you are just like, if you're still brainstorming as well and you want to build on cross-chain is like the need for the near future, right? So people would, it's ideal to build on cross-chain because there's a lot of need for from end users to, bridge between chains because the chains are exploding right now, right? So we have all these optimistic bridges, optimistic chains, rollups like Optimism, Arbitrum, Boba, and we're also gonna have ZK rollups in the future. So that like before the chains consolidate, the chains are gonna explode in the near future, in the next 1 year or 2 years. So I think like it's ideal time to start building on cross-chain or building cross-chain dApps, solving cross-chain problems, because yeah, everybody's facing these problems, all of us. So yeah, wish good luck to you, all of you, in this hackathon, all the hackers. I'm happy. I'll be around in our Li.FI booth. We have a game, and we have merch, really good merch, by the way. And yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Thank you.